Well, I'm Sean Faulkner. I'm the Sales and Marketing Director at a company called Kirsten UK. We've been using ERPNext for about 2.5 years. So we started just a bit before the pandemic, really. A little bit about our company, I suppose. So we sell sweepers and snow plows and grit spreaders, that kind of thing, for grounds maintenance professionals. So councils and contractors and other large companies in the UK who are looking after parks or streets, that sort of thing. So our mission is to encourage a feeling of personal pride in the built environment and to arm ground care professionals with the tools and the knowledge that they need to achieve this. And ERPNext has been a great tool in helping us to achieve this mission. So I remember starting work in a little office about 12 years ago or so. I think it was 2009. And on the first day, I had a phone call from one of our customers wanting a certain product that we did. And so I had to prepare a quotation. And my father didn't give me any clue as to how I was going to do this. He just said, well, prepare a quotation for them. So I opened up Microsoft Word and started typing away the product and the prices. And then after I'd finished, he came over and said, no, there's a better way to do this. We have this new CRM or ERP system that we're going to use. So it wasn't yours, it was a competitor's at the time. I thought, great, there's something that will help me do it. But first, I had to add 600 products to the system. And I decided that on that particular day, actually, an ERP system didn't seem like such a great idea. But anyway, we persevered and we used it for the following 10 years or so. And, you know, it does really make the business work a lot quicker once it's all set up. So the thing we were finding, though, is with this system, it wasn't open source. It cost per user, and as we were growing, that was getting quite expensive. And also, it had quite a lot of limitations. So on the website front, you weren't able to integrate the website really with the system particularly easily. So we were using several different products to try and produce the website, and it was difficult to keep up to date. So with that and a few other things, like the sales guys that we have out on the road couldn't access it when they were out on the road on their phones and things, whereas ERPNext, you can access it from anywhere as long as you've got the internet. So we began our journey with ERPNext, as I say, about 2.5 years ago. And we started really, myself and the CEO, Chris, we sort of set up the processes ourselves and just decided the rest of the company was working on the old system for a little bit while we started up the new system. And once we got it to a point where we knew how everything kind of worked, we started migrating the rest of the people in the company across to the system. And it worked quite well. We were sort of mostly doing it ourselves, supporting ourselves with the forum and things that were quite helpful. And we really started around the CRM part. So I wish I could say it was really easy, but one of the things that we had to get used to was the way the system worked in terms of how you sell things. So having the right sales process for the way the system works is quite important. And we wanted most of our leads are inbound, so we don't spend a lot of time on the phones calling people or sending out emails and things to people. It's all coming off the website or our dealers phoning us up. So we decided to get rid of lead. We don't use lead. So we have the opportunity generated either automatically from the website or by when someone rings us up, we generate an opportunity. And then we link it directly to a new or existing customer. We get a lot of repeat customers because lots of our customers are dealers. So then we kind of got that process cracked, ish, with quite a lot of help from Frappe to work out what these things meant. And in 2020, I'm not a developer. I'm a sales guy. I've done a bit of mechanical engineering, but computer engineering is not my thing. So, but I learned to code because we needed to do the website. So we did it in HTML, and I wrote it myself, and there was about 1,000 pages probably of website to do. So it took me 6 months at least to get the bulk of it there. And was a lot of hard work. And then just at the end of those 6 months, as I completed these 1,000 pages, they came out with Page Builder. And so they discussed this with us in one of the meetings. I think it was with Basaraj and Harshit. And thank you very much, guys, for the effort that you've put in. And 2021, I learned Page Builder. And we used it across all the web pages and item group pages, and then we made them put it on the item pages as well, so that the whole website essentially was produced in Page Builder, which has sped up colossally. I created the next version of the website in probably 3 months or less, but with actually going a lot further and doing a lot more other web pages and products and things. So. It was a bit of a revolution. But with that, so the way that meant we could create things very quickly, you can then start producing a lot of content, which is great. So I watched a presentation by a guy called Daniel Priestley, who is fairly big in the UK. He had discovered some research that Google had done that suggested that customers, when they're looking to buy a product and invest a fair amount of money, they'll spend about 7 hours looking at content about the product over 11 different pieces of content. And that might include, a physical visit in person, a demonstration, something like that, a video, blog posts, the web page, over 4 different types of media. And that was really a light bulb moment when we discovered that. And we thought, right, well, we'd use the page builder to create web pages and a customer journey that fulfills that 7 hours and 11 pieces of content for each product. So we went about trying to create the website in a way that would happen. But obviously it's a lot of work, but this really sped it up. So we had a vision that a customer would be able to go to Google and type in their problem. So they might have a problem of weeds that they need to get rid of along the side of their street. Or they might be a council who's trying to move away from using a chemical like glyphosate for killing weeds and use a different solution. Or they might have a tractor that they need a particular attachment for. So they search for this thing, and then we come up top on Google. They read a blog. So blogs have featured quite heavily for us. And then the blog would link to another place in the website where they could discover lots more about the product. And then from the product page, they could get in touch with us, and we'd know what product they were inquiring about. And then we could produce a quotation for them very quickly, and then they would have all the information they need to buy a £5,000, £10,000, £50,000 product without us ever having to leave the office, which actually works some of the time. So we came up with this system to help us produce it. So most companies, you'll have seen a funnel. You have a certain amount of impressions and engagement in the top, and a certain number of sales come out the bottom. And what we found was it didn't really work for us 100%. So we borrowed a concept that one of your competitors, I suppose, in a certain way, HubSpot came up with, which is the flywheel. So as you add more content, is the driver for this. A flywheel is a good way of storing energy and providing momentum to a system. So as you store lots and lots more content, it draws a lot more impressions from those searches in Google. And that drives, when you've got relevant content, it drives much more engagement, which then drives the opportunities, quotations and sales. And then the idea is it drives raving fans who talk about you and be convinced enough by the product that they'll also produce content for you and keep the cycle going. So when doing this, you need a process that allows you to keep building content, and it's not just about the volume of content. You have customers who are going on a journey when they're buying a product. So they'll start off completely unaware, maybe, that they even have a problem that you can solve, but perhaps they do, and they might not know about your brand at all. So you start by trying to convert these people from unaware of their problem to people who now know about their problem, know about you, and then when they understand the problem, you want them to understand the solution to the problem. So you move them up, and then when they understand generally what the solution to the problem is, then you introduce them to the product that will solve their problem for them. And then they become fully aware, and then they buy the product. So what we do is we have the sales guys trying to integrate sales and marketing into the same thing, because I run both sections of the company. So we have sales guys who are collecting raw information. So they're collecting contact information, product information, they're writing copy, they're producing headlines, they're taking pictures when they're on demonstrations, videos, all that kind of thing. We're then using the ERP system, the CRM, and the file list, and also the Google Drive to store that information. We're then manipulating that information in the system, so we're creating customers, we're creating item pages, we're using item page builder, web page builder, social media platforms, etc., to manipulate that to produce contacts, item pages, web pages, and then distributing those through different channels, and they target people in specific places along their journey. So you need content that moves people from one stage to the next, not just generic content. And then that gives us the business results that we need at the end. So the stuff that's moving them from unaware to brand aware is generating impressions. The stuff that's moving them from brand aware to problem aware is creating engagement and opportunities, etc. We found then that when you get to manage the inquiries, when we've got a lot more inquiries, you need some way of keeping track of them and making sure you move them along. So the Kanban system that we see in the opportunities section is extremely useful for us. So we can set up a grid like this and look at whether an opportunity has been replied to or not, and then when it's been replied to, you move it in there, and then whether they've had a quotation, and it moves automatically when the quotation is produced. You can schedule a demo, so there's an area with the diary, and you put the demonstration in the diary, and then it moves across to demo scheduled when it's completed, demo completed. So you can track the whole way along where the sale is, which is extremely useful. So to build this flywheel, you need to keep adding content, and you need to bridge between the content. So you have different types of pages that do a different type of job. So blogs are the big key thing, really. So they've done a lot of work at ERPNext in changing how the blogs appear and the amount of how easy it is to produce a blog. And that's the starting point. And then you can link from the blog straight to a topic page that gives them more information about the problem that they're trying to solve and different avenues of solving it. And then from there, you link them to an item page, which has all the information about the specific item. And as you move them along this journey, it moves them along their normal, natural customer journey. So the blogs will appear something like this, and that's the starting place. So when you're writing a blog, and writing this information, it's key really to understand exactly who your customer is and just focus that blog on their particular problem. And you'll find that every day you're getting calls on different problems or messages on different problems, and the easiest way to do it is treat one at a time and just solve that problem for that customer and write a blog about it. And as you're doing this, you end up, you've got all these keywords across your website that are creating a massive, what I like to call a keyword black hole. So every time you type something into Google that's at all relevant for what you're doing, the more of these keywords you've got across all these blogs and item pages, the bigger and bigger and bigger this thing is, and the more gravity it has and draws in more and more people. Hopefully that's a clear representation. I'm nearly there. We found that it's really important to try and keep as close to the standard way that ERPNext is designed to be used as possible. So when you haven't got to keep up with lots of different integrations, you haven't got to keep changing stuff whenever there's an update, and there's lots and lots of updates all the time, which are really useful, but then they don't apply to the thing that you've just built that's different. So as far as possible, if you can keep customers to the standard ERPNext solution, and it's a fantastic solution to use. I think that's the best way. Some areas we've had to enhance, I suppose, the standard solution. So Page Builder isn't typically available, I don't think, for items. We had ERPNext do that so that our website was consistent the whole way through. I don't know whether that's... They've developed a separate system now, the e-commerce side of it, which is sort of similar to that in some ways. We're still using Page Builder because there's certain features in there that we still like to use, like featured blogs and things to put on the web pages. And also newsletters. So you can't currently build newsletters in Page Builder, which would be nice, but we've just found that it's simpler at the moment to use a separate system for that, so that then you can link easily to the blogs. I haven't got to write the web page, the newsletter in HTML to do that, but maybe it's coming. I've tried to push it with a few people this week. So here's what's happened for us after using ERPNext in the last year. So we've gone from, not quite sure where it's covered by the bar, but anyway, we've gone from about 23,000 impressions on Google a month to about 80,000. We've gone from about 1,100 organic visits to the website to 2,000, so we've more or less doubled it. We've gone from about 40 opportunities a month to 80, and then 20 quotations to 40, and 10 sales to 15, and really that's all to do with the process we've put in place and you guys, so thank you very much. So what now? So now it's very simple, and I've probably repeated it too many times in this presentation already, but we keep adding content to give the black hole more and more mass so that we keep getting more and more inquiries. And I'll keep increasing the targets year by year, and we'll sell more and more. The other side of it is getting your sales team consistent and the rest of the guys in your business consistent in using the system in the same way that you want it to be used. And then the information becomes as useful as possible because it's all being inputted consistently and in the same format. Thank you very much. And if you've got any questions, if we've got time, I'd be happy to take them.